Coming up on Ag Week TV, as this sentencing day approaches, we re-examine the fraud case of young grain trader Hunter Hanson. With this year's late and very wet crop, farmers are having to do additional grain drying this harvest season. And South Dakota lawmakers plan another attempt at legalizing industrial hemp production on the heels of USDA's proposed rules. Welcome to Ag Week TV. I'm Michelle Rook. With the late season and immature crops in the northwestern Corn Belt, grain moisture levels at harvest are higher than farmers have seen in several years. So they've been forced to dry more corn and even soybeans. Jeff Thompson says his corn is running from 20% moisture on the early corn to 25% moisture on the later maturing hybrids. So his grain dryer on the farm has been going 24/7. That slows down the harvest and is an added cost.
My gas man comes every day, and there's like 850 gallons a day when the dryer's running, non-stop, so it counts up in a hurry. Last expense you need is more drying expense and dockage. Especially since propane prices have risen 20% in October. He says even his soybeans were 16% moisture, but he sold that crop at the elevator and let them commercially dry it and just took the dockage on the price. This year's increased demand for propane has also created propane delivery issues. In response, the governors from Iowa, Minnesota, and North Dakota have signed emergency executive orders. The action will help resolve delivery challenges by exempting drivers of commercial motor vehicles delivering propane from hours of service requirements during November. The lagging development of this year's row crops also resulted in some damage when the first freeze hit in October. However, the market has been trying to determine the degree of yield and quality loss. Agronomist Larry Osborne says corn and soybeans that weren't mature when the growing season ended had the top end yield shaved off. For soybeans from 5 to 10%, but for corn, yield losses may be higher.
I use the figure 10 to 15%, maybe 20% in some cases. I don't think quite that much. I think the entire season maybe took off that much over the highs that we've seen in the recent years.
He says test weights are also running slightly lower on corn that didn't hit black layer or completely fill. That's also leading to more fines and difficulty in handling and drying the crop. With the wet corn crop and late harvest, that's left a deficit of corn for ethanol plants and tightened basis levels. David Freeman with Midwest Ag Energy's plant near Jamestown, North Dakota, says conditions are the wettest the area has had in a decade, leading to corn shortages at the plant. He says they hope the cold temperatures will freeze the wet fields for harvest. The plant can handle corn with up to 25% moisture.
A lot of this corn out here, unfortunately, didn't reach black layer full maturity, so it is a lot wetter. We're hearing a lot of 30+ moisture corn in this area, and it's for anybody it's hard to handle 30 moisture, whether it's the farmer or the elevator or us. I mean, it's really difficult.
Midwest Ag Energy also has a plant in Underwood, North Dakota. So far, both plants have been able to keep operating, but Freeman worries the old crop corn they've been relying on is running out. Farmers are certainly ready for 2019 to be over with the continued weather woes this harvest season. Katie Pinky talked to two growers who were held up by rain, snow, and ice.
As far as these conventional pinto beans, it looks like it's going to be the first year we're going to leave some crop in the field. Of all the other years, we've had some close calls, but we've always got the production harvested.
Randy Shaley grows soybeans, pinto beans, and spring wheat in Nelson County. But this fall brought him 11 inches of rain, followed by 20 inches of snow, bringing his harvest to a halt.
We started out with a pretty good wheat harvest. Bushel production was good, but we did not see one dry bushel of spring wheat this year, which out of my 45 years, that's one of the first.
Shaley is hoping for some frozen ground to finish his soybean harvest, but he isn't holding out much hope for harvesting his edible beans.
Unfortunately, it's going to take some very unique November weather to do any more harvesting on those.
It's been one extreme to the other.
John Miller's family has been farming this land near Piesic for about 40 years. Miller's been farming for about half of that, and he's finally wrapping up one of the roughest harvests he's seen.
The 24 inches of snow that we received in the second week in October is something that I've hoped to never see again.
Despite the snow, Miller's crops reached maturity, although he expects about a 20% yield reduction in his soybeans. But now another weather problem is preventing Miller from wrapping up.
This is your last field of soybeans?
Last field of soybeans, and it's kind of a bare because I just plugged the header up with ice, which I've never done that before, but we'll get through it and tomorrow will come.
Have you ever combined on ice before?
I have never combined on ice. I've never plugged the header with ice. It's usually dirt and soybeans, but it's one new thing that I've done, I guess.
In Northeast North Dakota, this is Katie Pinky for Ag Week.
Hemp is quickly growing in popularity, but it may be a while before the crop is grown in South Dakota. The story coming up next on Ag Week TV.
Micro Essentials is a unique product. What makes it different than other products, it has 4 different nutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, which is 2 forms of sulfur, and zinc in every granule. The sulfate sulfur, we get the bulk of the use of it the first year. The elemental breaks down over time. It's a huge benefit for the grower. It's giving them the opportunity to get more nutrients in one.
Every so often, technology revolutionizes an industry. We introduce Wheelman, an easy-to-use and simple-to-install, complete auto-steering system that any farmer can afford. Wheelman works with over 700 tractor makes and models, and there are no additional fees. You buy direct, it ships to your home, and installs in just a couple of hours. Starting at $39.95, Wheelman has arrived. Learn more at handsfreefarm.com/arrived.
Ready for more? The new Fendt 900 Vario is impressive on every level. With groundbreaking features, you'll be ready for everyday challenges now and in the future. New smart connectivity solutions make the Fendt 900 series from Butler Machinery an intelligent choice for your farm. We're also proud to carry the Fendt Ideal, a new combine for a new era of farming. Designed to be automated in operation, the Ideal combine is already setting industry standards for efficiency and output. Visit butlermachinery.com to schedule a demo at your operation.
At Superior Grain Equipment, we're committed to quality and service, offering you the best in grain storage and dryers for any size operation. Our experts will work with you to determine the most efficient and economical storage solution for your needs. We help protect your bottom line and your future with the industry's best bins and warranties. Make the superior choice for protection today and tomorrow with Superior Grain Equipment.
Oh my goodness.
USDA has released an interim rule establishing the U.S. domestic hemp production program as required by the 2018 Farm Bill. But it hasn't changed Governor Kristi Noem's mind about legalizing the crop in South Dakota. Farmers have been looking at hemp as a new economic opportunity, as traditional crops haven't been as profitable recently. To date, 47 states have approved hemp and submitted plans to USDA. However, farmers in South Dakota continue to wait. South Dakota lawmakers will try again in 2020 to pass legislation to legalize industrial hemp production after failing to override the governor's veto in the 2019 session.
I have never had so many questions on an issue since I've been in the legislature as what I had on hemp. And people are they're excited about it. Yeah, there's some concerns, but I believe we can address all those concerns where it'll work for everybody.
Qualm says lawmakers have been doing their homework on hemp and will integrate USDA's rules into their bill.
I think we'll probably be able to make some better decisions now since we waited.
Governor Kristi Noem has reviewed USDA's rules and says her position on legalizing industrial hemp hasn't changed because of the impact it will have on public safety and law enforcement's ability to enforce drug laws.
Other states that have moved ahead with the program, they're throwing out marijuana cases by the hundreds. They're saying we can't tell the difference, so we're not prosecuting marijuana anymore.
So Noem is again warning legislators against legalizing hemp production.
So if we move ahead with industrial hemp, I mean, to be honest and to be factual and palms up with everybody in this state, you will be legalizing marijuana.
She also questions how the state will fund the program.
Those legislators need to get real about the facts. We're going to need about $10 million just to start the program. I don't know where they're going to get that in this revenue year. It's been a tough year.
However, Qualm says the governor's figures are inflated.
I don't believe that. Obviously, there will probably have to be some, but I think 10 million it's just too much. I don't see that.
And the House Majority Leader is optimistic they'll have enough votes to override another veto by the governor.
The Senate, I know there's some people who changed their mind, and so we'll see. I believe that we will have.
USDA's Risk Management Agency has also been in the process of developing a crop insurance program for industrial hemp. RMA Administrator Martin Barbary says there is a lot of excitement around industrial hemp production. He says as soon as USDA's federal hemp rules go into effect, the agency will be able to offer this risk management tool.
We will insure it under our whole farm revenue policy, which is strictly a revenue policy. Producers will be able, if they have income records for that, really will only affect those producers that were growing under the 2014 Farm Bill pilot project.
He says RMA is also working on a standalone multi-peril crop insurance policy for industrial hemp. Barbary says they hope to have it out in 2021 for sure, maybe even 2020. There is interest in hemp processing in the region as well. Here in Lake, Minnesota farmer Dave Stencil is looking at a possible facility to process CBD in the Worthington, Minnesota area. He recently told the Nobles Economic Opportunity Network he's negotiating with a Canadian company that would provide that necessary technology and infrastructure to handle all processing needs in southwest Minnesota. The company toured more than 50 industrial hemp farms and liked the Worthington area the best. The $16 million plant would focus on CBD extraction for medical treatments. Still ahead on Ag Week TV with his sentencing next week, we re-air some of the most interesting parts of Mikkel Pates' in-person interview with grain trader Hunter Hanson that took place a year ago.
Martinson Ag Risk Management offers a variety of crop marketing and crop insurance packages to our customers. With over 40 years of experience, our dedicated staff works hard to ensure you get the best advice on crop insurance, marketing, and risk management. Contact Randy or any of the staff at Martinson Ag Risk Management today at 701-205-4200 or visit us online at martinsonag.com.
How can one tillage tool handle most field conditions, residue types, and tillage practices? It takes a Renegade, the Summers VRT Renegade. Switch from vertical to aggressive tillage and anywhere in between. Adjust blade angles, tillage depth, and more on the go, all from an iPad. Get the tillage results you want, like only the Summers VRT Renegade can. For more information or a demo, contact your Summers dealer.
More successful seasons start with more freedom in the field. The exclusive agronomic and economic incentives of the FMC Freedom Pass program expand your crop protection options from pre-plant to harvest. More than 40 FMC products qualify. 40+ herbicides, insecticides, and fungicides growers know and trust. And FMC rewards you for making independent, innovative crop protection decisions, not for making your seed purchase. Visit your FMC retailer or fmcfreedompass.com today.
Steffes Group, selling land and the equipment to farm it since 1960. If you're interested in selling or have questions about our auction process, head to our website at steffesgroup.com to contact us at any one of our 4 locations located throughout the Midwest. You can also visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel to view all of our auction previews and recaps to stay up to date on the market in your area.
Upgrade your trailer to electric with the Rolltech electric system from AgriCover. Strong, flexible pivot arms and motor mount rotate and telescope, allowing the roll tube to rise and flex over heaped loads. The positive automatic lock is impossible to back off to control the flow of grain. This integrated system uses one wireless remote to operate up to 10 tarps and hoppers, keeping your driver out of the dust, rain, and harm's way. See the Rolltech system in action at an AgriCover dealer near you. Ag Week TV Soy Insight, brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council.
Ag stress is taking a heavy toll on farmers and rural communities. Low prices, bad weather, and the trade war are forming a perfect storm of stress, and ag leaders want farmers to seek help if they feel depressed or anxious. Sean Brotherson, a family science specialist at NDSU, says everyone needs to pay attention to the warning signs of mental health, just like the warning lights on your dashboard. He says there are many resources to help, but he suggests the first step, if you're feeling stressed, is to see your doctor.
you need to think about your health. That includes opening up, talking about what you're experiencing and your stress. It's not a sign of failure that we're all experiencing difficulty in agriculture, and we need to be open to that and reach out and support each other. Talk to your family members, talk to your friends, talk to a counselor if you need to.
Brotherson says there are several online counseling services available for free or at a low cost, especially helpful for people in rural areas. He says the NDSU Extension or LSS websites have more information. The below normal temperatures have actually helped with the harvest, even with some snow. So will that trend continue? Here's John with our agri-weather outlook.
The weather pattern as November moves along remains locked in a fairly cold type of a pattern with a very subtle eastward shift of the coldest air. That doesn't mean the northern plains is expected to see any kind of significant warm-up. Overall, you may have noticed around the nation the weather not nearly so wet as it was earlier in the fall. Part of that is colder weather brings less moisture, but the pattern has changed a little bit as well. For the most part, the next couple of weeks, precipitation in upper Midwest northern plains is going to be fairly light, except there will be a few narrow bands of precipitation, not big storms, but snow, of course, has a different sort of a lasting effect than a little narrow band of rain does, so we'll keep an eye on that. There is a big split in the jet stream over northern part of the Pacific, Alaska, the Yukon, and that is pretty well keeping things from changing very much. So this week, the weather will remain relatively cold here in the northern plains, Great Lakes, upper parts of the Midwest. Chilly weather making it all the way down to the Gulf. Might be some freezing temperatures pretty far south this week, at least at night. Some early first frost in the deep south. The west coast will remain fairly warm, particularly the desert areas of the southwest. Next week, it's going to continue to be fairly cold. A subtle flattening of the pattern from west to east will maybe bring some milder weather, but generally speaking, the eastern part of the United States will remain in a cold or chilly weather pattern, with only Florida being warm and, of course, most of the southwest. That's just the way it's going to be. Now, as far as precipitation goes, these narrow swaths of snow difficult to pin down. There will likely be one this week. Most of the west dry. The southeast is where it will be a little bit rainier. Next week, I suspect another little band of snow somewhere in the northern plains. But like I said at the beginning, those little narrow bands are hard to place.
Mother Nature doesn't always cooperate. So when conditions are right, be ready with genuine Case IH parts from Titan Machinery. Only genuine Case IH parts are engineered to keep your equipment running at peak efficiency when you're running around the clock. Don't risk your bottom line with off-brand parts that don't meet the same standards. Visit your local Titan Machinery dealership today to find out why genuine Case IH parts offer the best value and performance for your operation.
With the success of the Case IH Steiger Quad Track and Magnum Road Track tractors, it's no secret why Case IH is the leader of the track. So it wasn't surprising when the competition started imitating us. But only Case IH offers a 5-axle design to give you a smoother ride, more power to the ground, with less berming and compaction. Still, we're flattered. In fact, if we weren't already red, we'd be blushing.
When harvest comes around, time is precious and you don't have a moment to waste. North Star Ag offers the Lofsness Grain Logix Grain Bag Loader to deliver versatile grain storage performance load after load. Lofsness's user-friendly grain baggers are easy to load and unload, perfect to get your harvest in the bag. Uptime is crucial. Keep your crew in the field longer with a fuel trailer from Thunder Creek. And don't forget, North Star Ag has Meridian hopper bins for any size operation. See our complete new and used equipment inventory at northstarag.com or give us a call. Mayo Manufacturing, your Red River Valley source for Batco. Mayo Manufacturing, your Red River Valley Batco dealer.
This is Dennis Beliski reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On-site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
A grain trader faces several years in prison for defrauding farmers and grain elevators out of millions of dollars in a sort of Ponzi scheme. 22-year-old Hunter Hanson pleaded guilty to fraud and wire fraud charges in the case. He faces 6 to 8 years in prison and had to agree to repay $11 million. The co-op elevator of McCluskey, North Dakota suffered one of the biggest losses. Mikkel Pates talked to the manager and has more in this week's Ag Week cover story.
Wheat is still king here.
McCluskey Co-op Elevator Manager Brian Larson says that's how he got involved with roving grain buyer Hunter Hanson. East Central Grain Marketing is a brokerage firm in South Dakota and Minnesota that worked with Hanson, who was paying more than others, offering large protein premiums. So Larson decided to give them a try.
We started out with some smaller lots with some different people, and things were going well. It might have seemed made you a little bit puzzled, but it wasn't out of the ordinary.
But the contracts with Hunter Hanson became the biggest McCluskey Co-op had ever done with East Central Grain, and the co-op became one of the biggest losers in Hanson's scheme. They were hit for more than $768,000, accounting for more than 126,000 bushels of hard red spring wheat. Based on the co-op's loss, the state's attorney for McLean and Sheridan counties started a criminal investigation. Those felony charges led to Hanson's arrest in April, and then it became a federal case.
We were concerned about a continued criminal behavior, the creation of more victims based on a car scam that we'd come across as we were investigating the grain stuff. So we made a joint decision to charge him to try to prevent more people from being victimized while the federal case was getting put together.
At this point, Larson doesn't know how much money will be recovered for the elevator and its clients. The North Dakota PSC is recommending a payment of about 19 cents on a dollar for qualifying claims, but even that won't be paid until next summer. Although he's philosophical about the loss, Larson would like to see Hanson get the stiffest penalty he can.
I did it for the best interest of the co-op.
In McCluskey, North Dakota, this is Mikkel Pates for Ag Week.
Hanson was just 21 years old when he started this business and when it all played out. The house of cards started falling when Hanson wrote some bad checks to clients. But in an interview a year ago, as the case was unfolding, Hanson told Mikkel Pates the problems all started with an honest mistake.
The check deal, that was because there was a misunderstanding in the office, and checks were not supposed to be issued when they did. And we tried to contact everybody on the list that it affected, but we didn't call everybody in time, and they called the state, and that's when the state got involved.
The PSC has had a hearing today, right?
Yep.
And what does that amount to as far as you're concerned?
Well, it's just a cease and desist, just until everything gets figured out. Hopefully we can make a solution to all this before it gets any farther, but they got to do their job, and that's to protect elevators and farmers in a timely manner. And we don't have the capital like the other bigger elevators do, like CHS, and no, we pretty much rely on cash flow. And if you have one hiccup like we had, it's very tough to overcome it.
How did you learn how to do the elevator business?
I've been in the grain business for 6 years, so it's not like I've woke up last week and decided to do this. I do have experience doing it. The grain trading, that's been a very good business for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and it sounds like this has been a lifelong interest of yours.
Yeah, I do like the grain elevators, and grain is a big interest for me, and it's a good industry to be in.
So did it require some kind of capital to get started in all this?
No. You just have to get your bond. Then I just developed a business throughout the year. And our business grew 75%, I would say, at least within 1 year. We have over 100 customers.
You're still a young fellow,
yeah.
And I suppose it's partly some of these things are new problems for you to
engage with any new business, especially when you're growing that quickly, it's you will have a lot of growing pains, and that's what we're facing right now, is a lot of growing pains.
You can find Mikkel's entire interview with Hunter Hanson from 1 year ago at agweek.com. Where does your beef come from? Still ahead on Ag Week TV, we'll tell you what South Dakota senators are doing to help you know.
DTE is your headquarters for flatbeds and service bodies for your truck. Whether you need to haul bales, heavy commercial equipment, or take every tool with you, DTE has the truck equipment you need. We have over 200 units on hand, or will custom build a flatbed or service body on your truck.
Like this Dewey's bale bed with dual lift cylinder arms. Lift, load, and handle your bales with ease.
When you need help at the farm, your business, or in the oil patch, count on DTE. DTE, let us build a truck for you.
Explore the convergence of agriculture and technology at Cultivate 2019 on November 14th. Cultivate is an emerging technology in agriculture conference hosted by Emerging Prairie of Fargo. Connect with industry leaders and farmers and learn about how the latest tech innovations are being utilized in agriculture. For more information, visit emergingprairie.com.
Dig, lay, and bury drain tile all in one pass with the Crary Tile Pro Plow. The Crary Tile Pro Plow lays tile up to 7 feet deep with boot sizes of 4 to 12 inches. Advantages of installing drain tile to your field provides increased overall yield, improved soil moisture levels, and controls soil erosion. It pays to tile with a Crary Tile Pro. To locate a dealer near you, visit www.crarytilepro.com.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? Ag Week magazine. Reaching over 70,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. Ag Week provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted. Ag Week. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
South Dakota Senators John Thune and Mike Rounds have introduced the U.S. Beef Integrity Act. The bill would require that product of the USA label be only used on beef and beef products derived exclusively from one or more animals born, raised, and slaughtered in the U.S. The legislation would replace the mandatory country of origin labeling program that was repealed by Congress in 2015 after the WTO ruled it violated trade rules. The senators also sent a letter of support for rulemaking filed with USDA to address the same concerns. Thanks for watching this week's edition of Ag Week TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. We'll see you next week.